If affirmations worked without boundaries, you'd already be healed. Sit with that for a second. Because a lot of us know all the right words. We speak positively, we protect our peace. Yes, I did the air quotes. We say we're choosing ourselves, but we're still answering calls we don't want to answer. Still explaining ourselves to people who don't listen. Still feeling drained after conversations we knew were going to drain us. So clearly, words are not the issue. Last episode, we talked about honesty, about the quiet lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. This episode is about what happens after you tell the truth. Because once you're honest, something got to change, right? And most of the time, that something is boundaries. So let me say this as plainly as I can. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They're about controlling your access. And that's where folks get uncomfortable. Because when you spent your life being available, being understanding, being flexible, being, air quotes here, the bigger person, boundaries feel rude. They feel selfish. They feel mean. And they'll bring guilt with them every single time. But here's the part people don't like to admit. Some of the people in your life are used to you having no limits. They're used to you answering, explaining, making room, adjusting. So when you start to change, they don't see growth, they see inconvenience. And instead of respecting it, they test it. Oh, baby, they're going to test it. You'll hear stuff like, you've changed. You acting different. You being distant. That's not how you used to be. And the truth is, yeah, they're right. You are different because the old version of you was accessible at the expense of your peace. Let me be honest. You can't heal in the same dynamics that hurt you. Ask me how I know that. You can't affirm your way out of environments that require you to abandon yourself. You cannot keep calling people triggers when they're actually just disrespecting your limits. A lot of us think boundaries are dramatic moments, big old speeches, long explanations, ultimatums. But real boundaries ain't loud. Real boundaries are you saying, I'm not available for that. That doesn't work for me. I'm not discussing this. With no justification, no backstory, and no apology tour. And that's where the discomfort shows up. But another truth I have for you is if you explain your boundary too much, you are still asking for permission. And permission is not a boundary. I had to learn that the hard way. I used to over explain because I wanted to be understood. I wanted people to see my heart. I wanted to soften the impact. But clarity does not require consensus. And healing does not require agreement. What a lot of people call communication issues, yes, I entered the air quotes, are actually boundary issues. You communicated. They heard what the hell you said. They just didn't think you would enforce it. And enforcement is where the work is because boundaries without follow through are just suggestions. And your nervous system knows the difference. That's why you still feel anxious. That's why you still feel resentful. That's why you still feel tired. Your body knows when you're not protecting yourself. So this is where I slow down because I don't want you thinking about who needs boundaries from you because that's not what it is. I want you thinking about where you keep abandoning yourself. All right? Take a breath and answer these questions honestly. Get your journal or just sit with these questions if you are not available to do that. See, boundaries. Number one, who benefits the most from my lack of boundaries? Well, I can answer that for everybody. Damn sure ain't you. Number two, what boundary have I been negotiating instead of enforcing? What emotion comes up when I think about saying no? Is it guilt, fear, or grief? Now, this last prompt matters, and it could be all of them. Because sometimes we're not afraid of conflict. We're afraid of losing the relationship that depended on our silence. Oh my God, let me say that again. Sometimes we are not afraid of the conflict. We're afraid of losing the relationship that depended on our silence. As long as you be quiet, as long as you give in, as long as you a doormat, as long as you a yes woman. Okay, honey. Yes, baby. Whatever you say, my dear. You won't lose a relationship, right? But let me leave you with this. Boundaries do not ruin relationships. They reveal which ones were built on access instead of respect. And that clarity, as uncomfortable as it is, that's the part of becoming better. And when I say becoming better, I'm not saying louder, harder. I'm saying clearer. If this episode stirs something, don't rush to fix it. Sit with that shit. Download this episode. Come back and listen when guilt shows up. And remember, peace requires limits. Subscribe to this podcast if you're staying with me through this series. I would really love for you to. And also give me feedback because, baby, guess what? You're an onion and we are peeling back layers.